gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host this evening, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and my co-host is not my good friend Ian Garavaglia. I don't know where he's at. He was supposed to be here. It is not my good friend Jim Tucker either. I got the Wrestling Junkies podcast with me, the podcast dad, Chris Hoops, Eric, Mr. Cincinnati Robinson. Fellas, thanks for filling in. Welcome to OTM once again.
Mr. Cincinnati.
It's always great to be here, buddy. You made the call. We answered.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right. A little late to the answer, but I'm here.
I was going to say, wasn't this originally supposed to be a surprise? Podcast dad, you texted me during your podcast. You said, don't tell Eric. And then what happened?
Well, Eric was a little grumpy, so I figured I'd just tell him all after the show anyway.
I needed a Snickers. It's no big deal. Yeah.
He did.
And,
he did.
And a drink.
Yes.
And a drink.
Yes. What are you sipping on, by the way? What you sipping on?
This is Sunny D seltzers.
Those are disgusting.
Good.
They
Oh,
actually no, I like them. I'm a fan.
I'm not a Sunny D guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. Okay. Yeah.
Were you an
don't
OJ
hate
guy back in the day? Like,
Yeah,
pulp,
I like.
no
I like.
pulp?
Oh, no pulp. Don't.
You gotta
I
have
don't-
pulp. Come on.
No, you don't.
You
Yeah,
would be
yeah, you
serious?
do.
Don't make me. Don't. We're not gonna get into
What?
the bathroom debate today. Let's move on.
I mean, we
What?
can if we want to. We don't have a time limit here. So,
No.
Any-
There's no
any
pulp in
info?
orange juice.
I agree.
Do you drink anything else with stuff floating in it?
No, I
Exactly.
do not.
No, but it's okay for orange juice. Like it's,
Okay, before we get into wrestling, real quick, is a hot dog a sandwich?
No. It's a hot dog.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was watching when you guys were having this
Validated.
discussion. The closest thing to a hot dog is maybe a taco. Maybe.
No,
Maybe.
you don't call it a hot dog taco. You call it a beef taco. You call it a shrimp taco.
Well,
You don't
while
call
we're
it
on
a
the
hot
topic
dog taco.
of tacos. Taco Tully, I know, is an aficionado of sorts. Eric, do you know
He
his
is.
favorite kind of taco?
I think he died.
Oh yeah, that's easy. Yeah. What? Wait, what? No, he didn't. No.
He got the email,
currently
I heard.
holding out. He's holding out right now. He's not happy with his contract, and I don't know.
That's fine. See you next year.
Looks
What, you
like
don't
Kyne's
you don't
already-
care? You don't care? Okay.
Kyne's already
Anyway.
talking crap
Uh,
about the MVM guys. He's not
jeez.
talking about you, Mr. Cincinnati. He's talking about Eric
I was
Douglas,
gonna
who's
say,
also
yeah.
in the chat. And it's been a while. Our boy
Okay.
Pat is here. He says, yo, been a while. Yes, it has. I'll have to jump in about 15 minutes. Enjoy the show, boys. Yeah, it's going to be a great one. I got the Wrestling Junkies with me. Robbie Collins also back. He took a brief hiatus from wrestling, but he has been welcomed back by our community here at the Main Event Wrestling Network. He said, Kyle, the OG host, still going as strong as ever. How good it is to be back. Hello to the Wrestling Junkies, too. There you go. Getting away from
Cheers.
the Junkies. And I gotta give a shout out to Dirk Vogus, the father of our good friend Ryan Vogus, who will be in Cleveland with us for SummerSlam weekend. Dirk just retired, so let's give this man a round of
Right.
applause.
Cheers.
Good for you, sir. Good for you. We will never
And-
retire. So
Yeah, this is true. And I do have a special drop for you, Dirk. So please enjoy this 7-second drop.
Well, anybody named Dirk sounds like a stand-up individual.
What a name, right? Dirk Van Fleet.
There you go. We can make anything happen on this show.
That's funny.
It's a great name. It's not as bad as my dad's, though. My dad's named Ralph.
Well, that happens.
We at least have normal names. Kyle, Chris, Eric. That's solid.
Boring, or you could say.
Yeah, boring is another word. Kine says a hot dog is its own type of food.
Kyle, for the first time ever, you and I are on the same page.
Yeah, and he also is a big fan of your shirt. He believes in Joe Hendry.
Just get him in there. Get him in there. There he is.
Maybe soon we'll see Joe Hendry in WWE, which we're going to talk about the WWE and TNA relationship. And apparently Ryan already showed Dirk that clip, but yeah, it's going to be a part of the show from here on out. So congratulations, Dirk. You made the cut. But don't forget, before we get into everything, guys, check out our merch at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. No promo code this week, but all proceeds go back to the production of this show. So if you want to support us, that is a great way of doing so. And if you want to see what the wrestling junkies are up to, or maybe check out a blog, go on YouTube, check out Vicious Rants, even go over to TikTok, at @mainevent_net on all the socials is where you can follow the network. Big things happening, guys. We have another main event mixer happening this Sunday for NXT Battleground. Other than that, I know you guys have been busy this week. Is there anything big coming up? I think you got an interview, right?
Yeah, interview with the Buff and Fluff connection. Cody Fluffman and Sean Legacy dropping tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. After we wrap up this show tonight, I'm going to be hopping over to Wrestling Spotlight on Local Now with our good friend Gerald Bentley. I think that's about it for this week. The podcast dad's working some second shift next week, so not as much of him on our regular shows, but I'm cooking up a couple of surprises. I think that are gonna help to get us through the week without you.
Whew.
Let's not get crazy.
What?
It's not going to be the same.
You
I know
will
it's
never replace me.
I don't want to replace you. I could never. I'm just saying that I'm gonna cook this week. Let me
just like Ric Flair, I will die
in
in that ring.
There you go. Hey, and if you need a guy, I know somebody by the name of Mr. OTM.
Not Ian.
No, I just texted
Where's
him.
my son?
I go, where are you at? And I haven't got a response yet. King Chris is in the house as well. One of your guys' number one listeners.
You must acknowledge him. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you have to.
No, there is no sure. You have to acknowledge him.
Yeah, no,
well,
it's kind
that's the
kind
rule.
of a rule.
That's the rule.
He's one of the people I'm waiting to hear back from. So,
on our king is Ryan Vogus on this show. I gotta say, we have our own king. Maybe those two can go at it. Maybe there's a match or something.
All right, well,
fight to the death.
King Chris is pretty big.
Yeah, I've noticed. A lot bigger than me, which is not saying much. Robbie, that is a fact. Ian's dodgy Wi-Fi at it again. That could be the case. I don't know. Maybe he fell asleep. He's always tired. But regardless, the show goes on, and we're going to talk wrestling. So let's get into that, boys, with some news of sorts that was broken by Ringside News earlier today. I shared it in the group chat that Pentagon Jr., one half of the Lucha Bros in AEW, his contract is set to expire in September, and apparently the WWE has already shown big interest in bringing him in to the WWE. Podcast Dad, I'm going to go to you first. Do you think Penta going over to WWE would be a beneficial move?
I do. If you would have told me that a year and a half ago, I would have said no. But with the new era that we are in, I think it could be something. I'm scared it's going to be Dragon Lee and the LWO kind of route. Like I don't want
Dragon Lee time.
I don't want to lump all the luchadors together and have another Lucha House Party. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
Shout out to those who remember the Lucha House Party.
I do.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, it was bad. But I think this could be fun. It could be a lot of fun. We are going to see this happen, I think, more often now, where both places are viable at the moment. Like, you want to go work in AEW because you get the creative freedom to kind of do what you want. Hello, Adam Copeland, jumping off the top of the cage. And you could go to WWE where it is a new era. and the people that were in charge are not in charge anymore, and now you're getting people that are getting those pushes, i.e. a Chad Gable, a Sami Zayn, just a few examples there, but there's more of a chance to be seen, and I think you would get a fair shake rather than what you may have gotten in the past. It would be exciting because really, what is Penta doing in AEW at the moment? What has he done the last year or so in AEW? Not much. A fresh coat of paint could be a lot of fun.
It's kind of crazy though, because I remember at the start of AEW, Penta was a big part of their weekly television show. Like, he was featured a lot, probably every single Dynamite, to be honest with you. But ever since Rey Fenix got hurt, it seemed like they didn't know what to do with Penta. But Eric, I feel like Penta is a big enough singles star to just to be on his own and shine. Like, if he goes to WWE, I think you're going to sell a lot of gloves, you're going to sell a lot of masks, and you might have another Rey Mysterio type guy in your company.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that they have had a very, very hard time trying to replicate over the last 20 years. I mean, we all know Rey Mysterio is an ageless wonder, but he's getting close to that self-imposed retirement age of 50. So this is probably the best chance that they have right now in order to replicate that. Dragon Lee is definitely coming into his own, and he'll get there soon enough. But I mean, again, from a Triple H perspective, he has not always been the best at trying to find that next Rey Mysterio. We saw how well Sin Cara worked out, and that really, really hampered a lot of plans they had for Triple H from a corporate perspective because of that particular experiment. So all of that being said, Penta, I really like the idea of this. I've got a 2K universe that I did a couple of years ago where Penta was my NXT champion doing a brother versus brother program. Like, it works. And that's one of those things that, he'll probably fit in anywhere they want to put him, even if it's a short stint in NXT. But this could be a huge opportunity for him. And as long as they don't go the lazy and reductive route of lumping him in with LDF and LWO, they got something here.
Yeah, just like Podcast Dad was saying, I agree with you guys. Just don't put them into that demographic. Penta's big enough; he can be on his own, and he'll sell merch, and he'll be a top guy. But I don't really know Penta's age. So
39.
39? Wow, younger than I expected, honestly. So you still got a couple good years there. But regardless, this is also a rumor. We don't know the validity to this, so this could be false, but we are going to treat it as it is maybe a possibility, and that's why we decided to talk about it, because Penta's a big name, I would say.
Yeah, and we talked about a little bit on our show this week about WWE kind of continuing to branch out with other companies. This could be one of those things that they do. He has a relationship with AAA, with CMLL, like. Can we see something like that? Like we obviously see the relationship with TNA. They're going to all these international shows. I'm sure they'd love to get into a Mexico demographic as well and get into that area. You bring in a Penta, that could help bridge the gap. Someone that's worked at those other companies, and we don't have that we know of a written contract with an AEW or a TNA or whoever it may be. So those companies could be open to working with WWE, and Penta could be that first, kind of foot in the door for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd like to get the thoughts of my usual co-host who has decided to grace us with his presence. Sir, the show started at 7. What the hell are you doing?
I'm not gonna lie, boys. The alarm didn't go off. And it was one of those sleeps where you're in the middle of a dream and you start thinking, you're like, hey, I should be up for something, shouldn't I be? No, I'll be all right. And then kept sleeping. And then in the middle of my dream, woke up, looked at my phone. I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's not right. So yeah,
it's
I'm
your
back.
Podcast.
I'm here. Yep. Hey, thanks for joining the podcast, guys.
Hey,
Thanks for having us.
Chris, you got anything to say to your son for showing up late?
What time is it? It's 7:15 your time. Why are you asleep?
Gags Kyle can attest. I sleep a lot. Like, it's bad. It is bad.
He'll come
Don't
over
ever
for
have
like
kids.
a wrestling night, and
Don't
over
ever
for
have
like
kids.
a wrestling night, and SmackDown will finish up, and then we'll like throw on GCW. He'll make it through 2 matches, and then he's usually out.
Mhm.
That's how it goes.
You might want to go get that checked out.
Maybe.
Well, Ian, it looks like the chat is happy to see you. Kine, the MVM, says, my goat, Ian. Robbie also excited. Robbie has made his return live for OTM. And first-time viewer, Christopher in the house, he said, hey, it's my first time being here. Saw it on my recommended, and I thought I'd stop by. Hey, we appreciate you stopping by. And don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Pod on the Mark. Pack, that's a name that I haven't heard in a while. Eric, the way he flies about the ring is mad. Yes, that is facts. But Ian, let me get your thoughts. I don't know if you saw the report that I shared in the group chat earlier, but apparently the WWE is interested in Penta. Do you think that would be a good fit for him?
Usually I would say yes. And this is not me being an AEW guy, but the fact is simple. WWE really is not great at booking luchadors. I think we can all attest to that. They've tried a lot of times, and they usually just go to the LWO. So
That's what we were just talking about.
I mean, yeah. Again, it would be awesome to see. It would be cool to see them try. I think the only way that this could work is as long as there was actually a plan for him in the WWE. I think he would kill it in an NXT. However, I think bringing him along with as the Lucha Brothers in total, the entire package, having Phoenix come along with him, I think that could be the saving grace. Because at this point, I don't see him working as a single star in the main roster. As a tag, I don't know. But again, we're still in that limbo right now of the growing period. Where is our tag team division at? I think that's still in the middle of being growing in the actual card itself. So again, it's got potential, but they need to have actual plans for him.
There's a blueprint for a Penta singles run. Go watch Lucha Underground. They did it.
Yeah.
But it's WWE. That's the issue.
It's a new era. It's a new era, my son.
Yeah.
Have
But
you heard?
Andrade's coming back for this new era.
Well, he's already on speed. It's fine.
Yeah.
Eric, how have you been enjoying Speed?
Hasn't watched it.
Weren't you?
It has been a
the
couple.
number one
It has been a
fanboy?
couple weeks. I know. Wednesday 12 comes goes super quickly.
Don't have the time.
Why they call it Speed, Mr. Cincinnati. It's gonna come and go. Happy Pride Month, by the way, my friend. Happy Pride Month.
Thank you.
It fit in with the coming and going, so I
Yeah,
think
no,
reminded me.
hey, not mad at it.
Anyways,
This
Christopher
is-
says, I'd love to see Penta come to WWE. He absolutely would cook, especially under the new regime they got. I think he'd be booked very well and could be a mid-card champion within his first year there. I think that is definitely doable. But once again, we don't know for sure if this is true. Robbie has been away for a while, and he said, what an upgrade. He went from a part-timer to podcast son. Yeah, he missed the entire gimmick of yours, Ian.
It's been a while. It has been a while. In the meantime, you had Miss Kind switching on me from heel to face about 7 times. So catch you up to speed with that one.
And then he said, speaking of kind, Ian, we need your formal acceptance to my apology video
Stay tuned.
as you would on Twitter.
Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah.
Just don't fall asleep before you do it, all right?
Seriously.
I'll
Go to
set an
the
alarm.
doctor.
I'll set an alarm.
All right, guys. Let's move on to Monday Night Raw. A lot of things happening over there. Some good stories being told, including this one, as you can see on the screen right now, between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. And first off, I want to say I think this is a great way to keep Dom in the mix. We know he is obviously injured right now. And Liv Morgan really needed a story because we don't know who her next challenger is going to be until Rhea Ripley does eventually come back. But Mr. Cincinnati, I want to go to you first. Have you been enjoying this feud?
So far, so good. It's taken a couple of turns that I didn't necessarily expect. I've loved the incidental ways that Becky Lynch was cost the title, first with the chair spot and then getting Braun Strowman involved, which sets up another story for Judgment Day to just kind of bide their time until Rhea comes back to kind of formally go through the final act of the split. This is probably some of the best work of Liv's career right now. While we didn't expect to see her as champion so soon in this Triple H era, so far so good. I social media interaction alone is worth it. She is spam liking every single one of Dom's posts on Instagram. There was the cock block tweet that Finn Balor posted. Like, it's just it's a fun story right now, and it's something they desperately needed to get through the summer here, especially without Rhea.
And I think you said it in the group chat. This is just a soap opera that we are watching between these two. Yeah. And sometimes soap operas are good in wrestling. I've personally been enjoying it. Podcast Ed, what are your thoughts on this dynamic between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio?
No, I love it. I think it's good television because, man, when Rhea Ripley comes back, she's going to go scorched earth. She is going to destroy Liv Morgan. She's going to destroy Dominic. And that's going to be very good television. Like, I am each week, the anticipation for me is like, oh my God, when Rhea comes back. Oh my God, did you see what they just did? Oh, did you see this? Finn and Liv getting out of the same car. Liv having, and we found out that it wasn't Dom's bandana in that picture. It was JD's bandana. So she is literally trying to get into Judgment Day and take the one thing again that Rhea loves is Judgment Day, the championship. Dominic, when Rhea comes back, that pop's going to be amazing, and it's going to almost. I feel like it's going to be close to the Roman pop that he's going to get. I think this is going to be such a big return because she was such a big star and was carrying that women's division for so long that I love every second of this.
Well, I mean, you hear the crowds every week chanting, "We want Roman," and chanting for Mommy. So I totally agree with you. I think they're very equal in that sense. But as Robbie is saying, this is a good way to keep Liv hype big, make an interesting story with Dom. Also wait until Rhea comes back and wins that belt. Ian, I know you haven't been able to catch much wrestling recently, but have you been keeping up with this story?
Yeah, and we were talking through text earlier. These are the stories we're going to talk about today are the ones that have been keeping me going back to WWE, especially. The one thing I really like about the story is my complaints about Dom and Judgment Day beforehand, maybe just 2 months ago, especially when Rhea Ripley went away. I didn't know where they were going at all. And that wasn't even in a good way. There was Legado del Fantasma in there. LWO was in there. I mean, name the feud. They were probably talking to Judgment Day and behind the scenes, which I'm sure that'll pay off eventually. But it kind of felt like they were mixing ideas and throwing stuff at the screen and seeing what sticks. And I think they finally found it. And Judgment Day finally starts feeling like a team again. Now you have Finn Balor actually protecting Dominic Mysterio. So it's giving you a drive and it's giving you a reason to keep coming back. Like you said, social media numbers have been insane. I mean, these numbers are breaking for whatever reason of
50 million.
Yeah, for whatever reason of Liv Morgan kissing somebody. I don't know why that would go crazy, but went viral and it's working. And you could tell they're at least having fun with it as well, which, as we all know, the more natural you are, the more fun you're having, the more it shows on screen. Yeah. And it feels natural. This is fun for us to watch.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of hate on Liv and her promo work. I personally think she keeps getting better on the microphone. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
it's getting better.
She doesn't seem like she's acting. That's where, and that's been huge. Compared to she's always. Go ahead.
I was just say compared to what we've seen, especially that first title run, that program with Ronda, and then also I think back to the wedding of Lana and Bobby Lashley and how she was supposed to come down and interrupt to reveal the relationship. That was a bad Liv Morgan promo, but she's gotten much better since then. And I think it was Simon Miller did a video about this the other day about something that they kind of need with promo is some sort of improvisation instruction, because you do have that handful of superstars that's kind of, here's how much time you got, go do it, and other people that could benefit from that trust. So why not teach them how to do it? So I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
I'll let your co-host answer first.
I wasn't listening. I was reading the comment.
Eric, to answer your question.
Story of their life.
Sorry. We're not on our show. I was reading the comments.
I was reading the comments too because I got to pull a lot of strings behind the scenes. But I'll let Ian answer what Mr. Cincinnati.
Yeah, Ian, you were late. You go.
Yeah.
Eric, can answer that question? I mean, I see where you're going with it. I mean, you're feeding into what I was talking about. It's like the more natural you are and displayed across the screen and not feeling like you're just lip reading off a teleprompter just behind the camera. That's when you make more of a connection with their fans, even if you're a heel. That's where people start being like, okay, I don't need to turn the channel during a backstage promo. I know this is about to go to commercial. Because that's usually how I work. Like there's usually a sports game on the other channel. And I'll switch if I see a promo because I know what's going to commercials. And Liv has kept me engaged because it doesn't seem like she's reading an infomercial on why you should stay tuned and why she doesn't like somebody, why she's the underdog. Now this feels like you said, Gags, it's a soap opera. That's what it feels like.
Well, and she does tell you to watch her, so it's a good thing are watching her. True. You are listening to the new mommy of the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan. But
and thank you for clarifying that it is a sports game. Thank you.
Yes.
Robbie said, it'd still be nice to maybe see fact time or phone call with, or FaceTime he meant, or phone call with Dom and Rhea to know that Rhea is watching everything that's happening. You're shaking your head no. Mr. Cincinnati's shaking his head yes.
Nope, I just want her to come back and go, what the hell have you been doing? That's what I want.
Save it. And the pop at the PLE when Liv retains and we hear, this is my brutality, is going to be absolutely nuts.
The ears open. How many days we got left on that? Yeah, how many? What's our count?
Fuck, I lost count, sorry.
58.
But we will be in Cleveland in 56.
Sure, maybe.
I like that.
I don't know.
Well,
I might be up there all week. Who knows?
Fuck it, let's do it.
Going there now.
Well, going from
you gotta stay awake.
This is true.
Long drive.
It's the group chat come to life, boys.
Yeah, you guys are getting a behind-the-scenes look of what it is like to be in the Main Event Network group chat. So
I'm usually asleep.
We know.
Yeah, maybe we can get in if you pay us some money.
No, I'm working. There's the difference.
Well, me and Mr. Cincinnati work. We are just always on our phones for work.
Yes. So
I can't do my job without this. You know,
kids these days.
Right.
What are you talking about, Ian? You were texting me throughout the entire day of work, you lying son of a bitch. Kine says 6 days until I see the Foo Fighters live. That's pretty cool.
It's a good concert. It's a good concert.
Enjoy, my friend. But one storyline to another one that's happening on Monday Night Raw. And this is probably my favorite storyline in wrestling right now. What is happening with Chad Gable, the Alpha Academy, and Sami Zayn is absolute perfection. Everybody is playing their role to a T, and especially Otis. Now, Otis was a guy in 2020 that was mightily over. Like, he won Money in the Bank, fans loved him, his merch was selling, and then after that, he kind of just got thrown back into the tag team. Yeah, you laugh, yeah, you enjoy when he was on the screen, but he didn't feel important. But with this feud that we are getting, with the demise of the Alpha Academy, you're getting Otis, who is shining. Maxine Dupree gets some work on the microphone. I think it's overall beneficial for everyone in this story. Ian, what have your thoughts been on how they've been going about this feud between Chad Gable and Sami Zayn? Because we know we're going to get that match at Clash at the Castle in a couple weeks. But just all of it, how have you been enjoying it?
The thing about Otis that I absolutely love, and we said it before, I said it earlier, like 5 minutes ago, is that his natural way of just being over just for being himself is hilarious. Mm-hmm. Like you said, 2020, he was over the moon. That man was the most over thing in wrestling. I mean, that's what it was. And it seemed like the powers that be before, will not say his name, it kind of seemed like it was he had a drunk night, decided, let's do it. Let's send Otis to the moon. And then tried sweeping it under the rug. About 2 weeks later, he literally gave away the briefcase. I think it was to Dolph Ziggler, which
Miz.
Dolph Ziggler. Oh, Miz, that's right. Yeah. And that just shows how unimportant that was and how sad it was, because I remember talking about it those days, but now it's kind of come full circle. We're starting to realize we still have gold with Otis, and now we have an actual storyline on why we should push him. And the subtle hints every single week. I mean, I thought this past week was the most beautiful, and I think it keeps getting better. It was right there. The crowd pop for Otis turning into Gable's face was loud, and it came across on screen. I think I've said it from the start with this storyline. They have something special here, and I mean, even Tozawa is getting himself over just by being a part of this. So we'll see where it goes. I'm still intrigued. I'm not gonna say where it could go. I think we all know where we want it to go with the storyline, but it's very fun stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Gable because we know the rumors that his contract was supposed to expire last Friday, but then he gets a singles match at Clash. My guess is that he's re-signed.
Yeah.
But speaking of Chad Gable, Podcast Dad, I think this is the best version of Chad Gable that we have gotten to see on our TV screens.
Probably the best since it was. I remember it was. I can't remember what year though. It was the Black and Gold NXT where he broke out the towel for the first time with the Ready Willing Gable.
Yeah.
I loved that version of Chad Gable. This
Yeah.
one's fantastic though. I mean, even backstage after the whole segment where he goes and great acting and Maxine's like, no, I'm really hurt. And he's like, you're staying in character. Great job. Like he's clueless and it's awesome. And then he flips that switch where he just becomes he's Perk Angle. He flips that switch where he's so intense.
He's getting the chance.
And I do think he's going to win the IC title at Clash. And I am very excited for this run. It will be interesting to see what they do with Otis after this story is over. I think Otis could be a R-Truth type character for them for the next however long. I mean, look at R-Truth. He's made a great career out of it. So that could be something for Otis because again, he's naturally charismatic. There's the word. And I think there's a place. And a fun fact about Otis, that is the podcast mom's favorite male wrestler.
That's also Jim Tucker's favorite wrestler.
Nice.
You got two things in common right there. But I mean, the good thing about this story and then the Liv and Dom story is that everything on WWE television right now feels important. It doesn't matter where you're positioned on the card, and most.
Andrade says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah. But you get what I'm saying, right, Mr. Cincinnati?
Yeah. I mean, these are some of the best stories they've got going right now. We're starting to see something. We're starting to see the beginning of a Ludwig Kaiser singles run. Gunther as King of the Ring is still something that we're going to behold. Nia Jax as Queen, it has the potential to be one of the best things going this summer, I think, especially as she builds to a match with Bayley at SummerSlam. There's a lot of important stories right now. Jade and Bianca they're on good terms right now, but it seems like that's one that can happen just about any day that tension can begin just because they are so similar. So yeah, there's just a lot to enjoy right now about what they're doing, and it's only gonna get better from here.
Wrestling's fun, guys.
Wrestling's great. We love wrestling. Robbie says, I love how well this will go for Akira, Maxine, and Otis, but I'm absolutely loving Chad as the heel, not giving a crap type character. I like it. Yep, Robbie, 100%. And Kine goes on to say there's so many stories happening, but 99% of them are all so good, and so many potential ones in the future. We are eating good right now in the WWE. Yes, we definitely are. And I kind of agree with you, Chris. I think Chad Gable might take that title at Clash at the Castle, but we will talk about that very soon. Probably, well, it's not going to be episode 200 because we have a fantasy booking situation. I'll have to figure it out, guys. I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
I will say, and then with WWE, like they're doing all this, and we are very interested. Without Rock, Roman, Rollins, Punk, like there are Rhea, Becky, like there are Charlotte, so many big names, Charlotte, that are not there. And it's like, this is the time where you build the new stars, and they're doing a very good job with that. That when these mega stars come back, it's going to be like, okay.
I can't believe WWE isn't using any of that talent right now. They should leave and go to AEW.
Oh, now we're going to get yelled at.
Well, I don't have anything to say. Usually I have a rebuttal. I don't give a shit anymore. This podcast sucks. Just kidding.
This podcast is great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yours is good too. Great. Sorry. It is great.
Whoa,
Thank you.
That felt
I'm
like
there
a
every day.
Yeah.
I'm in your chat every day. I don't want to hear that.
Hey, that one felt like
I
a
wouldn't
dig.
say every day, but
Wouldn't say every.
you're there enough. You're there enough.
You
Sorry,
suck,
it's
Kyle.
every day of the week. Not on Wednesdays, because me and Ian are playing wiffle ball, which, by the way, guys, and
Yeah.
I know the podcast dad's going to enjoy this one, your son hit a walk-off home
Oh.
run last night.
I did it, Dad. I finally did
All
it.
right.
You weren't there to watch me, though.
Well, I never will be.
Oh.
I'm working.
Just like it's real, Dad. Oh, good talk. That was a deep cut.
What?
Kind says, see, Ian, that's the reason I turn heel on you so much, because you come out with that type of statement. There you
Kind
go.
makes those statements pretty regularly.
Yeah, Kind bashes AEW every chance he gets in the comment section. So
Very nice.
that's the pot calling the kettle black right there for sure. But we're going to move on to NXT here. Before we get into a little bit about NXT Battleground, we're going to save a lot of the predictions and in-depth analysis for the main event mixer. But I do want to talk about two names that are taking a lot of headlines right now on social media and in professional wrestling, and that being the Knockout Women's Champion, Jordynne Grace, and former AEW and ROH star, Ethan Page. Ian, I know you are a big fan of Ethan Page. I know you haven't got the chance to tune into NXT, but not just Page, but with Jordynne Grace as well. What does this mean for professional wrestling? Because now we are getting a lot of talk of them working with TNA.
Okay, in my envisionment, yes, I love Ethan Page. I wish they would have done something with him in AEW. However, it sucks. Okay, anyway, that's all I'll talk about him with there. However, two different stories here. You have Jordynne Grace, and already a huge champion in TNA, proven herself throughout the industry. Now they're just putting her on a bigger stage. Obviously, we know TNA and WWE's working relationship. This is right here. This is working at its finest. I think this is just to show off Jordynne Grace, because I mean, even if she doesn't win, which I'm not going to say my predictions or anything now, but even if she doesn't win, still a lot of people from WWE that really didn't know her, maybe saw glimpses of her in the Royal Rumble. Now they get to see what she's all about. This is the TNA champion. This is her. This is it. She doesn't necessarily need to win. That's her statement. Ethan Page, I don't know if it's officially official. He is in
happened this
NXT.
week.
Okay.
Yep.
So he is in NXT. This is an absolutely perfect beginning for him. He's not too old, but he's at that right spot that he's just got to get to the right audience, showcase what he can do in NXT, really display his promo game especially, and his wrestling, and make his way to the main roster. I think this is perfect. I mean, even if he's one of those NXT mainstays that you look back and say, man, this guy, he ran NXT, kind of like what Baron Corbin has turned himself into. This is a win-win. It's a win-win-win for everybody. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. But again, like I said, I think this is two different stories on why they're in NXT.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one's actually going to be there full-time.
Mhm.
Jordynne Grace, though, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she took that title off Roxanne
No.
Perez on Sunday. But Robbie says it's absolutely amazing to see Jordynne Grace making appearances in WWE. All I need to say is say his name and he appears. Show him the shirt. Hell yeah.
Hold on. Who is in charge of the crawl?
In charge of the what?
The crawl at the bottom,
Me.
featuring Mr. Cincinnati at Junkie Pod. Where the hell's my name?
You were a last-minute addition and I didn't edit it.
You can edit it live.
How long have you been looking at that to point that out?
Entire episode.
The entire time.
I know you can edit it live, so I don't want to hear that.
All right, tell me how you like it now. Wait for it to
Wow,
go through.
really?
This is
Really?
great podcasting right here. You ready for it?
I like it. I like
Podcast
it.
Poppy.
We're talking about the LWO a lot, so you know,
Yeah.
keep in mind.
I call him that from time to time. It's cool.
It's a good one.
It's fine, yes. Eric, you want to go first?
Sure. I already made our predictions on our show today. I think Jordynne Grace wins on Sunday. It's a bold move, never been done before, but they very clearly see star potential in her. And this is a trial run to see what they can do with her, because they will absolutely throw money at her once her contract is up. I mean, now that we've seen Sasha Banks, and now we'll start with Charlotte. She reset the market for women's wrestling. Then Mercedes Moné did it. Becky Lynch is about to do it now too. So those starting I mean, especially for somebody of Jordynne's caliber, I mean, they're going to throw money at her to come to WWE. And this is a great way to see, you know, what it is that they're going to get and how she integrates with the rest of the roster and finding stuff to do with her, you know, and it's on a per appearance deal essentially at this point. So sign me up. Ethan Page, this is a solid starting spot for him too. I don't necessarily see him winning this weekend, but I think that he could probably, you know, end this in a 2 or 3 month program. But we'll see. I'm happy with both.
I'm excited for it. And like Kyne's saying, even if Grace doesn't win, it's showing her off, and she's 100% a future WWE superstar. So this is the early stages of showing her off. And I think I mentioned it on your guys' podcast. There's so much benefit that comes out of Jordynne Grace taking that NXT title, and it progresses things going forward to make it worth it for TNA, or to make it worth it for WWE as well. But I think all this is just going to bring TNA up a little bit in the ratings. I think you're going to get more buys on their ROH club. I think it's just a win-win-win, like Ian was saying, for the fans, TNA, and WWE. Podcast Dad, what are your thoughts on these two now being in NXT?
Kind of want to get my son's thoughts. He made a face when Eric said something about throwing money at Jordynne Grace.
I don't think this has anything to do about a trial run for WWE.
Really?
I think this is genuinely because they talked about this whole TNA WWE partnership has been a thing for a while, and I think this is their first official run at that. I don't think it's a trial run for Jordynne Grace, because imagine, I mean, TNA, this would be a low blow to TNA, because I mean, even if it could be mutual. Obviously, we don't know; it's all just speculation, but it could be a mutual thing of, hey, you could test her out. And we know her contract's coming up. She's given us a lot. We'll give her the opportunity to do so. But from a realistic standpoint, TNA is still its own company, and they gotta get some stock in their champion. I think that's the whole purpose of putting the whole name of TNA champion here. That already broke ground. That already made a statement. Let's get her in the eyes of more people, the masses in WWE. That's when you bring eyes back to the TNA product. Maybe if it doesn't work out, maybe if it doesn't raise the numbers, that's when they start thinking about, okay, maybe we could start letting Jordynne Grace go, let her money go. That's where I stand. I don't see this as a trial run for Jordynne Grace to potentially be in WWE officially full time. That's not where I see it necessarily.
I don't know, man, because Jordynne Grace did some interviews after her first appearance in NXT, and she said that Shawn Michaels knew everything about her resume, what she's accomplished. They're keeping their eyes on every single promotion and every single wrestler.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I don't disagree with that. I just, with this specifically, if it's under the name of TNA, maybe this partnership really is that solidified and such a good handshake agreement that they trust each other with this. So that's just the way I see it.
Yeah.
Similar to OTM and the Junkies.
Yes.
And I would say it like, so if you're TNA, like legitimately, what's your ceiling? Number 3?
Promotion.
Yeah,
third, yeah.
So is potentially being a feeder system to WWE a bad thing? If WWE's going to pump money in you and go,
it's
hey,
like
we're
minor leagues.
Yeah, exactly. It could be their AAA, and that's something that they could do, and it's going to be beneficial for TNA because people are now going to go watch that. We're going to see NXT stars pop up on TNA. So we're going to get that cross-brand promotion. I think if you're TNA, you're like, if Jordynne Grace leaves, that's okay. At least we got X number of eyes on our show for a little while, and then when the next person comes about, is that, you elevate them up and do that. Like that. I think if you're TNA, try it. You did it with AEW and it didn't really work. Now you're going to try it with WWE, and again, if WWE is going to pay you some money to do this, okay.
Yeah, and if the rumored price tag of Jordynne Grace's appearances is true, that's money right there. That's you money. Just throwing it out there.
But they got it to burn.
Yeah, right.
And they're going to keep making money. I mean, SummerSlam is going 2 nights, and they're going to do more international shows, and they're going to redo their deal with Saudi. Like WWE is going to make so much money over the next couple years that shit, we'll buy TNA at this point, and TNA will be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Haven't already.
Yeah.
They should be paying their superstars more money in general. If you compare WWE salaries to AEW, it's not even close.
Oh,
Yeah, because there was a story that just came out. The rumored reported minimum downside's $350K a year.
that's fine.
So I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. Like yeah. But I mean,
I'll
as
take
far
that to
as
sit in catering.
that's like new to the main roster, that's your minimum. I mean, that's
I
pretty
mean,
damn nice.
good for Odyssey Jones.
Yeah, right.
That guy's still on the roster.
He got drafted again.
So
2 years in a row.
Houston a couple years ago, and then now he's playing for the Buffalo Bills apparently, which is
Trying out for
wild.
the Bills.
Oh yeah.
No, they signed him.
Yeah, but it is a tryout period.
Come on.
He
He's
probably
gonna
won't make the final roster.
I mean, he
He
put
could-
pen to paper. That's all I'm saying. Okay,
he
don't
couldn't get
listen to the
cheered
lawyer,
against
whatever.
Baron Corbin. He's not going to make it in the NFL.
This is true. But Chris, you brought up WWE guys going over the TNA. Brooks Jensen's been releasing some videos on X that have been very interesting. He's been throwing out hints. That seems to be one of the first guys maybe making the jump over to the other side of things, and that could just spiral into more. So I'm very excited to see what's to come with this working relationship. Robbie asked the question, though, completely irrelevant, but is Nick Nemeth still champ in TNA? I do not know.
Yes, I do
he?
believe so.
What championship is it? Do you know?
I
think it's-
yes.
Is it the digital media?
It might actually be the digital media. I'll do some
Yeah. And to be fair, 350K is a lot of money, but I think I saw like Mercedes making 10 million, Jericho's making like 4 million. It's like we can up it.
Well, he deserves it. We all.
We're not getting into that here. Not on this.
You all.
No.
Everybody needs to
No.
be on his learning.
Don't let him. No.
Just letting
Knock,
you guys
your
know.
son
knock
while
that
you're
shit
at
off.
I don't know what happened to my son. Did the sun come out? What just happened?
I was doing research.
What? Research.
Where are you?
He's looking up
don't know.
salaries. He's looking up money. That's what he's doing
Monet.
over there.
Yes. Yeah.
I was
no,
looking to
the
see what
learning
Dolph
tree's
Ziggler
right there.
is champion.
Is it digital media?
Moose is the world champion.
And Ali's the X Division champion.
Guys keep talking.
Yeah, he
You're
is.
putting so much pressure on me.
Go watch Action
I'm trying to
Wrestling. He
read.
sponsored a match with Mustafa Ali. I got the whole
Yeah,
DX
seriously, if
Division
you haven't
title. It was
watched-
really
yeah.
cool.
That's it. Yeah. That was so
They,
cool. That was
they follow us, I think, at Action Wrestling, right? Isn't that their app?
Yeah.
There's
Shout
their
out to
ass.
Matt the Mouth.
I've seen
right.
them interacting with us. So shout out to Action Wrestling for sure. Eric
Not a
says
TNA
Becky-
champion.
Not a
Oh,
TNA
okay.
champion. Okay.
I've been
Eric
short.
says Becky's about to make about 12 million.
12
He's
million.
probably close. She's gonna get the bag.
It depends on what the final boss says.
The Rock.
I mean, he's on the
Probably,
board, so
yeah.
he's going to have to approve it.
This is true, but
She's worth the money though.
Oh,
Let's not get started with that.
how much? All right, so you have Triple H money, you have WWE money. If you're giving Becky Lynch a 1-year deal, podcast dad, how much money are you paying Becky Lynch?
Man, what's Charlotte making?
Probably like 2 million.
All right,
No,
I'll give her
she,
2.1.
so I think Mercedes is like between 12 and 13.
That's crazy.
That's absurd.
Becky Lynch could command 15.
That's crazy.
Ooh.
I think Becky Lynch could command 15.
That would be monumental right there
Yeah.
if that were to happen. But
Yeah.
hey, time will tell.
I mean,
but,
New York Times best-selling author. You want to have her write a follow-up to that book? I mean, one of those legends you can send everywhere. Do the reality TV. Do the whole
24 million.
24 million, Eric. How much
That's
money
so
do you have?
That's so specific.
Yeah, you're not Tony Khan. Relax.
This is more realistic from Robbie, 1.7 million, and that was fantasy booking Becky Lynch's contract, guys. One
gonna be
last
a
thing
lot.
I want to touch on. Like I said, I don't want to get too much into detail because we will be having our main event mixer an hour and a half before NXT Underground, but that show is happening this Sunday, June 9th at the UFC Apex, which I'm very excited for. It's going to be a unique venue for sure. I'm kind of just going to go over the card a little bit, maybe give me a couple quick hits, and we'll move through it real quick. So, Ian, I know you're not keeping up, but we have an NXT Underground match between Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice. Any thoughts here, Shayna being in NXT or anything like that?
I don't know how many chances they could get Shayna to get back over as she was before the whole Ronda Rousey stuff happened. My only prediction is this will not get her over, and it's really sad because I do like Shayna Baszler a lot.
Yeah.
I just wish she could talk on the microphone. Or if they just don't let her talk on the microphone, that would be also great. However, I don't know. Lola Vice is so early into her career that I think just being in this match in general is going to help her, especially against Shayna Baszler, because, I mean, she's a legit killer. She was a great MMA fighter back in the day. So
did Bloodsport with Masha just
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
I want that rematch.
Yeah. Let's keep her within NXT. I want to go Shayna to win this.
Okay. All right. Podcast Dad, you don't have to give me a prediction, but overall thoughts on this underground match happening here at the UFC Apex. I think it's a pretty good fit.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'll keep mine short and sweet. There is money in Lola Vice, and that is what they're going to do. So just Lola Vice.
Tyne agrees with you, Lola Vice, to win via suffocation by her
Okay.
peach.
Relax.
Well, relax. This is a family show.
Bonk.
we don't
Let's
say
bonk
that
'em.
here. Bonk.
Mr. Cincinnati, how are we feeling about this underground match?
Yeah, so I mean, you need one of these on the card given the venue. But I think, as we have this conversation, because I mean, we've had this conversation about Shayna Baszler several times across both of our shows for as long as we've known each other. And I think that this highlights why WWE needs to start incorporating more managers into storytelling, because really you've got the wise man, and that's kind of it as far as somebody that can carry it for people that aren't the greatest talkers. And Shayna would benefit from having somebody like that. If there was if there were a Stokely Hathaway that had a Shayna Baszler as a client, that would be a lot of fun to watch. Somebody that knows how to do, just because she's not the greatest talker.
No.
And I do want to see them bring out more of that up, down, down personality that she naturally expresses. It's just for some reason it just doesn't connect on WWE programming, and that's unfortunate because she's so damn good.
Yeah, and Eric, I don't think I've ever seen it either. He said, I've never seen someone twerk, KO someone and then twerk on her unconscious body. Yeah, that's what Lola Vice will do. You have?
Bar fight about 2 weeks ago.
No, we won't get into it.
Oh, okay.
Fair. We'll leave it at that.
That's my personal life.
Some more Mexico, huh?
I got to hear about this one after the show. My thoughts... This should be a good match. I'm kind of excited for it. I mean, you got two real fighters here, so it makes sense to do it in this venue on this PLE. But I think Shayna desperately needs a win. I think Lola Vice is, she's already been climbing the ranks in NXT. I don't think losing to Shayna would actually hurt her that much. So I am going to give this prediction. I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler for now, and tune in on Sunday. I'll go with Lola Vice. Nonetheless, we got the tag team titles on the line. Axiom and Nathan Frazier taking on the Good Brothers. I know Podcast Dad's very excited for this one. Is that your thoughts? Okay.
Don't
that's
care.
fair. Mr. Cincinnati?
Yeah, I wanted so much more for the Good Brothers when they came back to NXT. I feel like if you're going to make that return from the main roster, like, you got to be featured prominently if they're going to do that, and that has just not been the case here, which is unfortunate. Love Axiom and Fraser as a tag team. Just keep that going. They're just fun to watch. So it'll be a fun match. I'll save the prediction for the mixer, but yeah, I think it'll be a fun tag match. This will be better than the podcast Dad wants to admit.
I want tag team wrestling in NXT back. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Stop giving me these random teams coming back down.
It was good when this guy was down there.
Yep. Sorry.
That's for
What a
sure.
time.
I'm not going to poo-poo the match like the podcast, Dad, but I'm not too excited for it. But yeah, I'll save my prediction as well. I think it is a good clash of styles, though, because you got the high flyers on one side and just the Good Brothers. I mean, I don't know how to describe their style. It's kind of just basic, to be completely honest with you, but it should be a good one. Ian, you got any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I've seen Axiom and Frazier. I personally am never a fan of like the whole superhero thing. I mean, even Ricochet, when they're really trying to push him as like a superhero, is like, I'm not a fan of that stuff. But they're good. They're very, very good. And I think the Good Brothers have been demoted so far down. I think they're just bodies to give a rise and put over NXT talent. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Axiom and Frazier here. I one thing I do want to touch on. Could we start naming tag teams again? Okay.
Yeah.
I actually, no, I agree with you.
It's annoying.
Yeah,
I
I'd
can't
like to
stand
see-
it.
Yeah.
All right, what's their name?
Yeah, think of a name for Axiom and Frazier. The
Super
superheroes.
partners.
Okay,
Super team.
That's why.
We're not on creative. We just talk.
We gave
on
a name.
podcast. Yeah, Axiom and Frazier. Goddamn, pal, that's gonna be great.
It's a
Seems
good
like
name.
all the chat's going with the Good Brothers though, so that's very interesting.
Because
Yeah. North American title will be on the line, though, as Oba Femi is looking to defend his title against one of the greatest, if not the greatest, North American champions in Wes Lee. And Joe Coffey's there as well. Mr. Cincinnati. I was obviously watching you guys live, so I know how you're feeling here. But it's just nice to see Wes Lee back on an NXT PLE.
Oh, for sure, and sooner than expected too. Especially with those types of injuries, you really can't be too careful. But he looks great so far. So let him pick up where he left off. I mean, when he's in chase mode, he is on fire, and he's one of those guys that can be the hunter or the hunted, and it is just perfection. So, I just love this. I mean, they're gonna need a little guy to bump around. He's gonna be able to do that. It's gonna be awesome. But Obafemi's that money, and I'm telling you, NXT champion before the year's out.
Probably, honestly. He's on that path for sure. Kine said, all right, buddy, the greatest North American champion of all time is Dirty Dom. Don't get it twisted. Hey, that's your opinion, but I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Eric said super speed. I mean, it's better than what we came up with.
It'd be a tough sell to the main roster, though. I think we know where they're heading.
Well, I thought that was the TV show we were watching.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays at noon. Oh wait, nobody does.
Mr. Cincinnati's favorite wrestling program, by the way.
That's
I just
true.
wanna throw that out.
Number one. Yeah.
Number one fan right there.
I want that belt, though.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
No, it's not.
I think
See-
Oba's going
see,
to retain.
thank you.
Kine says, I do like it. I like the women's better, though. I like the white straps. I think that the
Fair.
white IC title is my favorite title, which is not behind me right now. You see how I replaced the title with what we
That's
were
a lot of
talking
thinking.
about?
No. I like it.
I might be bald, but I'm not stupid. Ian, any thoughts?
What a quote! First off, what a quote!
Jury's out.
That should be on your gravestone when you die. So that was good.
Jesus.
Good job.
We're gonna get all morbid on us.
No, I think they've struck gold with Obafemi in just finding him. Whoever scouted him out,
Yeah.
congrats. That's awesome. You just made money out of nowhere. I keep the strap on Obafemi. Let him keep rolling because I think from what I've seen, he's done a wonderful job at representing that title, especially. And he's made himself feel like a big deal because, I mean, he is a big deal, and he's got a lot of future behind him.
Yeah, put that quote screenshot at everybody and send that to me. I would greatly appreciate it. Podcast Dad, thoughts on this North American title match?
Yeah, I mean, Obafemi has it, so he's gonna have the brightest future out of the three of them. Joe Coffey's there, I think, to take the pin. I wouldn't be super surprised if Wes Lee won and we see Oba move towards the main event scene, but it should be a fun match. The last triple threat match Obafemi was in was fantastic. So,
Can I ask, did Wes Lee have to retain this title because of injury? Correct? Was he holding it when he retained?
Yes. Yeah.
I think there's a program there for Oba and Wes Lee then to keep going. I don't know if they were fighting for the title beforehand together or if this is their first time really meeting. So yeah, that's something. I mean, that's a giant versus a cruiser right there.
Yeah, and if you're booking it in my GM,
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna
a
get a 5-star
lot.
match, playa.
I still haven't played it.
This match, 6-woman ladder match for the new women's North American title, which I think I can speak for all of us. We are very happy to see more singles women's titles in the WWE, but I will save the in-depth analysis for Sunday. I want you guys to give me the person you want to win and who you think is going to win. If that's the same thing, then go ahead and say it. But Ian, I'll go to you first. Who do you want to win and who do you think's going to win?
Somebody else go because I need to look up the participants.
Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, Mi Chin,
What a pro.
Jada Parker, Sol Ruka, and Kalani Jordynne.
Okay. I know who I want to win, and that is Sol Ruka. I think she is very entertaining. I think she has a lot of future. I don't know who I think is going to win because I really don't. I'm gonna go with Lash Legend because I think this could be a huge victory for her in a 6-woman. So let's go Lash Legend, who I think is going to win. I want Sol Ruka to win, though.
Podcast Dad.
Soul Snatcher. That's who I think's going to win. That's who I want to win.
How about that finisher that she hit this week?
Out of nowhere.
It's like that. Again, someone that has it. She has it.
For sure.
Oh.
Mr. Cincinnati, want and think.
Want to win Fallon Henley. Think is going to win Sol Ruka.
Ooh. I kind of thought Sol Ruka was one of the favorites until she got the pin on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's a new era.
It is. I know that's why I'm also second guessing myself. I still don't know who I'm picking. By the
So
way.
many of them have touched the belt too, and it's bad luck. It bothers me when I see
It's
people.
a new
do that.
era.
I know.
Kine obviously wants Kalani Jordynne to win because he thinks she's the greatest thing on earth, which she is talented. And who's going to win? Sol Ruka because she's super talented and a future women's world champion. Who I think is going to win for me personally, Lash Legend. Just because she has really become a main event player in NXT. She's now in a storyline with Trick Williams, who is the main event. I think you elevate that storyline at the same time with her winning this title, and I think it'd be a good look on her. I'm not a big fan of hers, but I think she's going to win. And if you guys know Mr. OTM and you follow me on X, who do I want to win? Say it.
No.
Fallon Henley.
I knew that.
Dude, she's been a great heel. Even Mr. Cincinnati agrees with me. I know he does.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, and Robbie Collins said, I do really like Fallon Henley. Oh, liked her for a while. I knew Robbie had some good taste. Smart man. All right, guys, we got 2 more matches to talk about here on NXT Battleground. My StreamYard is completely fucking up on my end, so I apologize. But the first one we're going to talk about here is between the girl we mentioned earlier, Roxanne Perez, and Jordynne Grace, the Knockout Women's Champion, making her NXT PLE debut here against the NXT Champion. Ian, I'm going to ask for your prediction to start this thing off. I just want to know who you think's going to win.
Like I said earlier, I don't, even if Jordynne Grace, I said big if Jordynne Grace doesn't win. However, I think she honestly, I shouldn't say the word should, but I'm going to say I think she should win this because this is like you said, this would be a groundbreaking moment, historic moment. I don't know if we've ever seen somebody come into WWE and win their title.
Take their title, yeah.
Yeah. And if this really does inevitably come into WWE signing her when her contract is up, I don't know when that is, but this could be huge. This could be huge for the wrestling business in general, and that partnership between WWE and TNA, and not showing it as just look at a TNA champion is coming in and trying to challenge our champion. And it in the future when other TNA people come in, like it's not an automatic, the WWE guy's going to win.
Right.
I think it's a trendsetter kind of thing and kind of moment. Like you said, a new era of this partnership. So let's go with Jordynne Grace to win. Let's shake up the world.
Mr. Cincinnati, I think you got to leave us here shortly to go do another stream. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got a couple more minutes. I can stick around.
Just give me some final thoughts. Give me your
Okay,
thoughts here for
okay.
these 2 main events then.
Yeah, so I mean Jordynne Grace is money. You can't rule out her winning the title on Sunday. You just can't. I mean, she's got that look that they absolutely salivate over. We're seeing what can be done with Jade Cargill and people that just have that superstar look. And Jordynne Grace is a superstar. So, here's the time to see how this partnership, and that rubber really meets the road is are they willing to swap championships? I mean, is that how, if you're going to prove that this is a legitimate partnership and a true collaborative effort, WWE kind of making the first move in this case, I'm totally fine with. As far as Trick versus All Ego Ethan Page, this is another one of those want to win, should win sort of scenarios. I think it would be cool if Ethan Page did win the title in his first match in NXT. He's just uber talented, and I think he's really going to get a chance to shine here in NXT and let his personality out. Trick is ready for the main roster. We heard that crowd reaction in Miami a few months ago. People are not going to forget that. So if this was a short title reign just to give him a little credibility on the way up, I'd be totally fine with it. But realistically, I think this is a summertime feud.
Love it, sir. Any final comments about the Wrestling Junkies and what you got in store for us? I'm not going to kick your co-host out of here yet. We're still going to talk to him, but I want to give you
of
some
course.
time.
Appreciate it. Make sure to follow at Junkies Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. 252 subscribers. We are trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. Check out our interview with the Buff and Fluff Connection. Thanks again to Sean Legacy and Cody Fluffman. That'll be out tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Podcast Dads on second shift next week, and I got some surprises in store to fill the time. I am going to miss him, but
thank you.
I was gonna say you guys
You're
should
welcome.
say your final goodbyes here.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll text you. I'll text you in like a half hour.
Yeah, and I'll see you. I'm going to see you on Saturday anyway, so it's fine.
It's true. Yes.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of
I'll see
drinking.
you on
2K24.
Sunday, correct? You'll be at the mixer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be there.
Let's do it. All right,
All right,
Mr. Cincinnati,
gentlemen.
I'm gonna remove you
Bye,
from the
buddy.
show. Adios.
Good to see you guys.
See
Okay.
ya, man.
God, thank
All
God
right,
that
sir.
guy's gone.
Okay, now let's have some fun. Now that the lawyer's
That
gone.
bloke out here. Chris, what do you think about this women's match here?
Man, I keep going back and forth. Like, if you ask me in an hour, I might say Roxanne's going to win. And then when I wake up tomorrow, Jordan's going to win. I really don't know, because part of me goes, they're not going to let a TNA star win the NXT champion, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
And
honestly,
I'm conflicted.
an old regime? Hell no.
yeah.
This new regime, I'm like, maybe.
That's where money is made. If you flip that title, you're gonna get more eyes on both products.
And it doesn't hurt Roxanne Perez.
No.
Like
No.
I think Roxanne Perez is the perfect person to do this.
I mean,
I just
When
don't
you-
know.
when you
I
look
had a
at this,
fantasy booking thought after you. Go ahead, Ian.
I was about to say, when you look at this, WWE NXT fans, especially WWE fans in general, by the eyeball test, Jordynne Grace should wipe the floor with her. This looks like a child next to a juggernaut. I mean, let's be real here. I don't think it hurts her in any which way, and it kind of makes her back into a underdog kind of situation. I think this could be a really good feud coming out of this.
Yeah, well, I was thinking if the title does switch, who could be the one to take it off Jordynne Grace? And I think it's a way to get back to an old feud. You have a returning Cora Jade defeat Jordynne Grace, and then you do Cora and Roxanne, because we never really truly got the finale of that feud between the two, because Cora's been unfortunately injured for a while now. So, I mean, regardless, this is a monumental match. This is literally history happening before our eyes this Sunday. And I think that's why a lot of people are going to be tuned in to this PLE. I just don't know. I'm in the same boat as you, Podcast Dad. I'm going
don't
back
know.
and forth. I started off with that thought process that you said, like, it's a WWE. They're not going to put their brand on a TNA superstar. But then I start to think of the pros and the cons. I think there's more pros to Jordynne Grace winning. Tune in on Sunday on the Mixer, and you'll get my actual prediction. I still probably won't know what to do. But one more match here, Ian. We have the NXT champion, Trick Williams, taking on All Ego Ethan Page. I do like what Mr. Cincinnati was saying to potentially flip this title as well and send Trick to the main roster. How do you feel about it?
I still think I think they're trying to make him into almost like the Johnny Gargano or the Tommaso Ciampa of NXT again. This is the pioneer kind of guy you want to push it behind. I mean, he was the face of the company when, after the draft, this was your guy. This is the complete reset, the Triple H reset. And I think he's going to stay there because I still think there are a few tweaks for him to go through. I mean, in the eyes of the fans, obviously he is over to the moon. He could survive on the main roster. However, you could still polish a diamond. It's a diamond's a diamond, but you could polish it some more. So let's let him have the title some more. And Ethan Page just got here. I mean, WWE fans, they're not super familiar with Ethan Page. Is that going to be your pioneer coming into the new era? I think this is still more time for Trick Williams to shine.
Ian is someone that does not watch NXT. Very well said.
Thank you. I watch wrestling.
I don't have anything to add to that. Chris, what about you?
No, I think Trick wins. I think he's going to stay in NXT for a while. They lost Ilya, Braun, Dijak. Like, they lost a lot of big names. And if you have Trick now leave, who's your biggest babyface?
You probably
Wesley?
what's his name? God, the new kid, the 20-year-old Evans.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But you're not going to put the title on him now.
No, I mean, way too
So
soon for that.
I think you would kind of, handcuff yourself by taking the star power of Trick Williams off of NXT. Let him continue on NXT. Like, we haven't seen, a full length title run with Trick Williams yet. It's been what,
We're
a
in
month?
the infant stages. Yeah.
Yeah. So let him win. I think Ethan Page could eventually win this title. Maybe it's the rematch that he wins this title, and then you have a program with them that goes throughout the summer, and then eventually we get to the Obafemi monster that's laying in the weeds. But I flip-flopping the title wouldn't hurt either, and it gives Trick a reason to stay.
Not at all. And I think Ian and I have talked about this in past episodes, even when Ethan Page was in AEW, that he kind of gave off that vibe as just a WWE guy. He just seems like he's going to be a natural fit in NXT to start, and then, like you guys were all saying, eventually get to the main roster. And I would like to see him, get that NXT title. I just don't know if it's going to be on Sunday. But, regardless, I think it's going to be a very good PLE. Let's go to the comments. Eric Douglas said, if Jordynne wins, why not just move Roxanne to the main roster? She's been ready for about a year now. Yeah, I think you could.
Again, it's kind of that star power thing.
Right. And I think she would work better as a babyface on the main roster.
I just think the main roster is in a weird spot that it's so jam packed. It's like
they're figuring it out too.
Yeah.
Wait till they get a mid card title, and then I think you might see a Roxanne Perez.
I agree with that.
Wait till they get a mid card title on SmackDown because Logan Paul never shows up.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
You don't like
he never shows up.
We praise Logan Paul all the time, but the dude's really not on SmackDown that much.
How dare you not like a heel?
He just wrestled at Crown Jewel in the main event.
He only wrestles on PLEs.
And it makes it feel special.
So did Roman Reigns.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. That's a fair critique, I think.
You should be liking a heel. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare me indeed. Kind says Trick's their guy right now, and they don't need to lose him. And judging how long it took for Ilya and Melo to go up, Trick shouldn't go. Give him a good re-sign first.
Well, Melo needs to go back to NXT. He doesn't remember his lines.
Yeah, what did he say?
You're facing yourself?
Yeah.
He called out himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a great look. But hey, Melo's money still. I love Carmelo.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Totally fine. But I think that's about all we got, which takes us to the end of this episode, which means we have to give out
sham.
Can
our
I
MVM. What?
Can I issue my apology first before we announce this? I'm not going to announce the MVM, but I will say, Mr. Kine, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. I really did not think you were going to come through, but right after the show, got ready to go to bed because it was about 9 o'clock. That's really late for me after the show. And then I saw on Twitter you tagged me, which I was like, oh, maybe he actually did it. He issued an actual apology, and it felt pretty good. It didn't feel scripted. You apologized for your heel turns against me and how unjustified they were, because they were. I've been nothing but nice to you, unless you deserved me being mean to you. And Kine, I think you have earned my respect, but more so you have earned my apology. Kine, I hope this comes into new beginnings. With that being said, Kyle, you are now allowed to issue the MVM.
That was something.
Sorry, Kine, I still hate you.
Yeah, there's a rivalry there. Chris, when are you going to win the MVM, man?
Well, I don't know, when Kine, actually shows up.
Fair enough. But Kine did win the MVM last week, but This is great storyline right here because this is the guy we were talking about that wasn't dealing with the wrestling community for a little bit. He took a little hiatus, and now he is back. And he is back with gold around his waist. Ladies and gentlemen, and new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Robbie Collins.
Congratulations.
He earned it. He earned it. You could see the love of wrestling came through in the chat. He's finally back, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see if he returns next week to retain the title. Haven't had a lot of retains lately, so
No.
Robbie, please come back.
No,
'cause this
so-
title is like a 24/7
No,
title.
Chris
right now.
wants it.
It's pretty much the United States title. Is that what we're saying?
Not this year's United States, though. Yeah, Robbie,
what a show.
You deserve this one. Yeah, so what a show indeed. A lot of laughs were had for sure.
Ian, are you going to go 15 minutes past after we leave so you can like wrap it up, or what's happening?
No, thank you.
What, anybody in for a solo Ian 15 minutes?
I'm just gonna be sitting here on my phone. Just
Yes, I want to watch that.
I will keep it live.
No, I have the capabilities in the stream anytime. By the way,
Kind says, I don't know why Podcast Dad hates me. It's just because I'm better than him. Wow. What a rebuttal.
Christian Cage said it best, but I won't say it.
I get what you're putting down there. A statement from the MVM. I have risen, just like Jesus. I am back. What a show, guys. The love of wrestling is finally back. I'm Logan Paul, though. See you next PLE. That's fair. And Eric said, I
Good
know
job.
you should never rewatch the whole Liv Morgan segment. Why is that?
I don't know why. Did you get
I
too
want a
excited?
15. Kind says I want a 15-minute Ian.
Yes. I do too.
I'm telling you, if that happens, I will end the stream.
All right. Well, I guess we're not going to do that then, guys.
I hate fun.
Podcast Dad, appreciate you once again coming on OTM. You got any final remarks before we sign off?
Good job giving their title to a part-timer. Ooh, 24-hour stream. I would pay money for that.
I tried
Ian,
doing that one
how
time. I
much
made
money-
it 16 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much money would it take for you to do a 24-hour stream?
I would have to make at least $500 throughout the entire stream.
Done.
Chat, if we can make this happen,
I'll
DM me.
I'll what's your Venmo? I'll do it
I
right
will
now.
tell you after the podcast. All right, guys. You got to keep your eyes peeled. But
That's our 200th episode, actually.
Kind said he'd pay $250.
Deal. Kyle, you're back on my good side.
Bring it
Wow.
in. Bring the money in. Show me the
Look
money.
at this. We've come full circle here, people. Podcast Dad, I think we will be seeing you this Sunday then, correct?
Yes, I will be on this Sunday.
Look forward to that. And that will be happening at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Thank
For
you.
those of you over there, as the Podcast Dad has corrected me before. Got that out. At mainevent_net is where you're going to find us there. Ian, any final remarks before we close out?
No, again, I apologize for the late arrival. I
Bullshit.
wish the alarm would have gone off because that was tough. It gave me a bad dream too. You guys should feel bad for me. But oh, okay. Dad, it was nice seeing you again. Hope to see you again sometime soon.
Well,
Kyle, I'm seeing you Sunday in person next. Oh wait, we got to make plans for tomorrow still.
uh-oh.
All right, so hear me out. No, while we're on the topic, we're already an hour and 17 minutes in. I'm sorry, Podcast, that's the last thing. I swear I'll get you back to your family.
I was gonna tell my son maybe next time I'll see that home run slugger.
Never mind. I'm
heard
not
that
even going to say
before.
what I was going to say. I'm done. Make sure you check out the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. No promo code this week, like I said, but all the proceeds go directly towards the production of this show. So we would greatly appreciate it if you bought some merch. Ian, what's your favorite merch design we have, by the way?
I honorary mark. I mean, it's not even. I think that's everybody's favorite. I love that shirt.
My favorite non-OTM shirt is the I Support Independent Wrestling shirt.
Ah,
the Junkies have.
yeah,
I was
true.
wearing that yesterday, sir. You see that?
Oh yeah. We appreciate it. I'm
We
waiting
gotta
for
get
my
you an
mug.
honorary mark. Yeah. Let's get you one.
I got the old school logo mug on the way.
Ooh.
You were the one that ordered that. Okay, I saw it. I appreciate your purchase at the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. Thank you guys for watching live, and thank you all for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.